Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise if my voice is a little muffled at times. I've just come over one of those fantastic colds. I'd like to welcome all the public, county councillor, borough councillor, all parish councillors to the annual parish meeting of Ormesby St Margaret with Scratby and California in brackets Parish Council. We've got quite a large agenda this evening to get through. If you would bear with us, some of it is, I've seen your hand up, Christine.
Yes, sorry, Mr. Chairman. Can I just raise a procedural point, please? It's a very small one and it's to do with the agenda. So I'm just here representing some parishioners on a planning matter, which I'm more than happy to speak about in the public participation section of the agenda. But I just wanted to clarify that this was the annual parish meeting, which is a meeting of electors and at which electors can speak. So we also have the option of raising any issues that are of concern to parishioners at this meeting, if you so wish us to discuss it. If not, we're more than happy to wait until the public participation section. In connection with that as well, and I hate to be, this is not picky, but the agenda is invalid. You have the election of chair and vice chair at the beginning. Items 3 and 4, we're all very happy to hear items 3 and 4 because we're here to hear the reports of all the work that's going on in the parish from all the groups. Great to hear that. But everything else on the agenda is a decision that can only be made by the council. And I think there's been a confusion between the concept of an annual meeting of parishioners and an annual meeting of the council at which you look at standing orders, financial regs and all the many things you have on there. And I'm very pleased to see all those things on the agenda, but unfortunately the notice has gone out saying that you'll be voting on that in this meeting, when in fact this is not a meeting of the council, it's a meeting of the parishioners. So that's the first point. How you wish to go forward with that is entirely at your discretion, but it is highly irregular not to have the election of the chair, the vice chair and all the business within a parish council meeting and not in an annual parish meeting. But we're all here to hear the news of what's going on, so please look forward for your clarification on why the agenda is as it is.
Okay. The reason why the agenda is the way it is it's exactly in line with the standing orders as printed and as registered with the council. This follows line by line the standing orders. We may differ, however, we're operating...
Mr. Chairman, can I say it is not? I have read the standing orders. I have chaired this council. I have clerked this council in the past ad hoc, and I can tell you that it is patently wrong. But I do not wish to cause you any difficulty, but the fact is you have an invalid agenda, and if you seek to make decisions on this agenda for something that has been sent out to give public notice, it is invalid. But can I just clarify, are you telling me definitively that this agenda is correct? Because I think this council needs to prove that it can operate correctly. So we would like to see that it is correct.
Just bear with us 1 second. Oh, sorry about this. On the basis, public can speak if they want. On the basis of what you said, for the fear of delaying everything, albeit that we have acted in accordance with God's word where we stand, we will check that, and we will postpone the annual parish meeting on this basis, and we will look at re-voting on the chair and vice chair at the next meeting. However, as I say, we have, to the best of our knowledge, followed all of the government's documentation that's been put in place. So all of items 1 through to 16 of the annual parish meeting will be carried forward to a separate meeting, and we will go directly into the Scratby, the Ormesby Scratby Parish Council regular meeting. That means the chair stays in place until otherwise voted. Someone else is voted in. And we will stay as officers as we are, and we will re-advertise the annual parish meeting, and if there are changes that are required under the standing orders, we will make those changes. However, we will also make sure that those standing orders are issued at the time, so it's very clear. Okay?
That's absolutely fine. Can I just clarify that you're doing NALC standing orders?
Can I clarify what?
If you will be adopting standard NALC standing orders.
We will be adopting standing orders that are suitable and correct for this council after the advice we've taken from all parties that are enforced correctly.
Excellent. And those parties are NALC?
We'll be notifying you when we adopt standing orders.
Thank you, Chairman. That's very helpful.
Okay, so we will now move into a standard parish council meeting. Okay. So first of all, item 1 of that meeting, which starts at 7 p.m. or now 7:10 p.m. Item 1 to consider apologies for absence.
We have
One apology from Mr. Grant. Thank you. We now have item 2, declarations of interest. This is councillors are invited to declare a previously undisclosed interest relating to items on the agenda. Are there any new items for declaration that have not previously been declared?
same expenses, Chair.
Yeah, similar, I have expenses as well. Any other items that people have interest in? Okay, so it's just the 2 expenses. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. To approve the minutes of council meeting on the 8th of April 2024. Do you have any comments from anybody regarding minutes previous April? Jeff Freeman proposes. Seconder. Simone. All those in favour? Thank you. Those are approved. Matters arising that are not included in this agenda?
There are no, Chair.
No matters. Thank you, Chris. So, item 4. I am moving that we will suspend the council meeting, so I'm... Sorry? Sorry, Mike, I just moved this bit. Item 4 is the clerk's report. Moving too swiftly. Chris.
So since the last meeting,
Can I just, for those of you who don't know, Chris Barton has been with us now for 8 months. He is the clerk for the council, completed probation, and in this meeting we'll be talking about that. It's been a very successful 8 months.
7 months.
7 months.
Yeah, okay, so since the last meeting we have implemented the new account system for the parish. The first task was to reconstruct all of the accounting records for the last financial year in preparation for AGAR, and I'm pleased to confirm that this is all complete and the accounts have been reconciled to the penny across all accounts. This is very nice to see. The focus will now move to the year in hand, and I'd like to thank particularly John, Catherine and Phil and Jeff for their assistance with the cost centres and cost codes for the new system, which are at the centre of our record meeting. So thank you, those councillors, for their assistance. During this period, I've been heartened actually by some very positive feedback from a number of parishioners regarding the beach cleaning efforts led by Peter and his team. It was actually quite uplifting to hear these messages of appreciation, and well done, Peter. At the start of April, I took on the temporary role of RFO alongside my existing park duties, and once again grateful for the council as I've given me a lot of time to familiarise myself. During this period, we've revamped the asset register, and we've also done a lot of work with regards to the budgets for the ongoing year. And also, we are currently working on one or two really minor changes based on advice from now for the financial regulations going forward. So they will be in addition to the changes we've already made in the last meeting on financial regulations. We've been asked by parishioners to investigate the removal of the old waste bin bases outside of the middle school. The old bins were removed, but the bases that are dug into the ground were not. And there's a concern these may constitute a health hazard with pet waste being left in them, and obviously stagnant water collecting in them as well. I believe this is a borough council issue, but I'm going to take that up separately. We've also received a complaint regarding residents of 58 Gracecamp Close. They've raised a complaint, not about them. We've had ongoing issues with the bins there. Apparently somebody has glued their side gate shut and left anonymous letters demanding they empty the bin. We are looking into that. We've also been approached regarding chimney springs and the sinkhole and how this is impacting on oil deliveries and the potential for causing delays in emergency services if and when required. The author of that observation has also approached us asking for a meeting with the Parish Council, which is in the planning, so we can discuss that with the parishioner directly. We've also been approached for a second time regarding the parking at the service station in Ormesby, and the cars that are parking at the side are restricting access for pedestrians using the path, and they're causing them to walk into the street. The owners of the garage have been spoken to on this face-to-face, but the problem continues, so we'll be writing a slightly stronger worded letter to them to ask for their support in making sure those cars are not parked there. We have also had confirmation that the by-election will take place, if you remember it's been moved forward because we didn't have any candidate, will take place on Thursday, June the 20th, and I can confirm so far we've had no requests for candidate packs at this moment. We will be going live in June with the parish surgeries. They will be alternated between Ormesby Village Centre and All Saints here in Scratby, and they'll alternate in opposite to where the parish meetings are being held. And they're going to be based on an appointment system. We have an online diary system that we've just put together. The link to the diary will be posted on all notice boards, as well as the village halls internally, and also on the website. Using the diary system will enable us to be more efficient with our time, and if there are no bookings for the surgeries, then they won't go ahead. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Chris? John?
You mentioned in your report, Chris, about the sinkhole in Chimney Springs. Have we had an update yet about the guy that did our one outside the garden centre? Because that's been 2.5 years. And I was going to bring it up at our annual meeting because the resident has asked me as well, because they're fed up about it and I'm fed up about it. It's 2.5 years and I keep mentioning it and I'm sick and tired of mentioning it. It's a disgrace.
So the answer is no, not yet done. But if you could forward me the details along with the parishioners contacts you, we'll make sure we contact them and I can give them a full answer. We are looking into it, and I'll be speaking to borough and council about it anyway.
You'll not recall that I contacted you about the war memorial.
Yes.
Not the memorial, but the surround. still not being done, actually. It looks pretty disgraceful in my opinion.
Yeah, so,
All of them, lots have been sprayed and
I am waiting for some answers. I was hoping to have the answers before the meeting tonight, but they haven't come through. It is in hand. I have spoken to Phil about it as well. There are some little shrubs that have got to be moved. The weeds have been sprayed. They were sprayed last week, and they were waiting a couple of days for that spray to take place. I've been in contact with Darren, and he assures me that that will be done, if not this week, it will certainly be done over the give it, well, yeah, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt for the time being, but I am.
thank you.
I would have put it into the clerk's report, but I didn't have the answers I wanted, so it would have been a.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chris?
Comment I'd like to make, obviously what John raised, is that we need to just bounce this poll straight back to Norfolk County Council yet again. James Benson's here. You know, it's highways, it needs sorting out. Please, James.
Yeah, well, I'll come in on that in a minute, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Anything else for Chris? No? Okay, thank you very much, Chris. You're on board. Chair, I will now move to suspend the meeting. And I propose to suspend the meeting for public session. Council agreed? Okay, item 5, public participation. This is an opportunity for the public to address the council. Normally we allow a 10-minute session, however, people are aware I'm fairly flexible, mindful of time and involvement. According to standing orders, a member of the public shall speak for not more than 3 minutes. That is the general rule. When we can respond immediately, we will. When we can't, Chris will take details from you and respond at a later date. As is mentioned, we do have James Bensley here, who is county councillor, who may be able to assist if you so wish at the time, or if you need more time. Lady at the back of the hand in here, Marie.
Hi. I've seen it on the 12th of April, I sent an email to the parish clerk asking 3 questions. I haven't had an acknowledgement yet, so I just wondered if you'd received it.
Well, probably. In the queue with my
Mr. Chair, I'm sure I mentioned something to Chris about this, but I think we've responded to
Well,
questions.
I asked 3 questions. Actually, I don't really want to be talking when this is being recorded and filmed, to be quite honest. So I'll discuss it privately, if I may.
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
It is a public meeting and we are
I don't
legally
care.
authorised to.
All you do is cause trouble.
Where we
No,
go.
no,
Excuse me.
thank you, it's not appropriate.
It's a public session, okay? The lady doesn't feel comfortable, that's all she's letting us know that she will,
Absolutely respect that.
that's fine, okay, good. Anyone else? Kristen?
Yes, obviously, as I said before, I'm just here representing quite a large group of people in the village who are objecting to the Barton Way Development. Now, as you'll know, Chairman, revised plans have been sent out by Yarmouth Borough Council with a deadline of the 25th of May to respond. So obviously we're looking into that, but we were rather disappointed to see that it didn't make your agenda, and I'm wondering if you could give us an explanation why it's not on the agenda and why you're not making that decision in public. Given that the decision's
We are
made.
just
Yeah,
checking something.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, Chair.
We have not,
Sorry.
we have not received an email with new plans from the Borough Council. I'm aware
Okay.
of documents, because there are new documents lodged from the 1st of May onwards, which included highways and various other things. But formally,
You've
at
not been
this
notified.
precise moment, the Borough Council have not contacted us for further comment.
Well, thank you for confirming that, because it's really concerning, because the public notices have gone up. So perhaps you might want to take that up with the borough. And could I ask you what you're going to be doing to address this issue, to get the feedback of residents before you make your decision? And can I also ask for your clarification that you will be making this decision in public session and not subsequent to a meeting, as you're required
What we've
to
done
do?
in similar circumstances is we've requested an extension, because we find that these decisions are requested.
Absolutely.
All outside the line of our meetings.
No, absolutely, I completely understand that.
Is as soon as we do receive the next request, we would then go to the Borough Council and request an extension so it falls past the date of our next meeting. Which
Okay.
will enable us to have a discussion here. Can I just confirm to you that please do not think we make planning decisions outside of the meetings. We do not.
I wasn't suggesting that at all.
You intimated that would we be making a decision outside of the meeting, and I'm just making it very clear to everybody. The system that works is that we gain information from the borough, we receive an invite to place our thoughts and decisions back to the Borough Council. We have one, I'm trying to think of this one out at the moment, where there is an issue that it fell outside of the gate. We wouldn't have had a meeting. We've asked for an extension. Equally, the local plan asked for information back last week, but we have only about to have a meeting today to discuss it.
No,
So-
that's absolutely fine. I
so
completely
we will
understand the
always
extension.
ensure that those decisions are made in public.
That's-
James, did you want to say something?
No,
I thought there was a hand
Sorry,
up.
mate.
No,
Make a hand up, like, hand up.
I think we just wanted to just make it clear that the very large number of people in this group are obviously very concerned about the development, and they do want the opportunity to make their points to the parish council before you respond. So if you could liaise with us to let us know when you're formally advised, that would be very much appreciated.
Okay. When the previous plan came out, I believe that, am I right in saying it was March this year or October? March. It was October, I was away in October. So in October, we had a meeting chaired by Catherine. The information was put together, the thoughts on the development were put to the Borough Council in a letter format. So we are now waiting for that information to see if they've reacted to what we have said and what the public has said. You look questioning.
You're a consultee, so every time a formal notice comes out from the borough, you should be consulted. Now, if they have failed to do that, obviously that's something you need to take up with the borough. But from a resident's point of view, we're just merely saying that, put you on notice that obviously it's something that you're aware that you need to look at, but we look forward to seeing it at a future meeting.
That's exactly the situation we do. We do put them on notice, we haven't received things.
Thank you, Chairman.
Gentlemen over there with glasses.
Yes, a very simple question, but I don't know the workings of how it works. But you say you will ask them if they will extend so that you can have your meeting and we discuss, etc. Shouldn't you demand, or are they likely to say, no, we won't extend it, tough cheese?
I am not aware in the time that I've been on the council that when we've requested, they haven't accepted. They have always accepted that, as far as I'm aware. They're reasonable people. It's a deadline to try and help them make decisions. Every time we've asked for an extension, via ourselves and via borough councillors, they have given us that extension.
Thank you, it's just a cynic of me.
I understand. Yeah, I think it's the nice ways we are requesting, brackets demanded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just update you, Chairman? Obviously, as a ward councillor, I keep a very close eye on what goes on with the Barton Way Development, and I tend to speak to the officers, not every week, but most weeks. I often speak to, I'm sure I saw them come in, Phil Myhill, because Phil will often email me and say, in the news yet. There has been a change of officer responsible for this project. He's a very, very, very qualified officer. He was here at the local planning consultation the other night, Nick Fountain. He's been now seconded into the planning department, and obviously, he's got a lot of experience. The previous officer, Miles, he unfortunately was unable to continue. The overarching responsible officer is Robert Parkinson. So I keep a very good contact with both Robert Parkinson and also with Nick Fountain, sorry. Now, there is a lot of paperwork to look at, but the decision is made by the Development Control Committee. They have to look, obviously, at what's coming. So there's a lot going on. There was a possibility that there was going to be a planning application for this coming in this week. It's certainly not coming in this week, and I would think it's still going to be now, probably into June. As far as the notices, the public notices are a statutory responsibility. The Parish Council has already actually replied and made our comments. So I will chase up to find out as to why they haven't asked us to reconsider. It depends on whether there's many material changes. If there are major material changes, they would ask the council to reconsider. If they're minor changes, it may not be so. So, you know, we are keeping a very close eye on the development, and as soon as anything comes out. And just back to what the chairman said, Alan, the Borough Council always put in a date, but they leave in 2 to 3 weeks leeway because they know that not all councils meet every month. Some councils only meet every other month, and they are usually very accommodating. And there is no way that they would, as we are the parish council and the development is in this parish, there's no way that they would refuse it. But I can assure you, I'm keeping a very close eye on the paperwork, and when it comes due, then obviously, if people have made their points known and their material considerations, hopefully that will be considered by the Development Control Committee. Thank you, Chair.
The other thing people should be aware of is you can look at all of this information online at GYPC. You can also view the meeting agenda plan and the meeting agendas for those planning meetings online as well, which is something I do weekly to make sure one hasn't slipped under the radar or jumps off or something like that, so we are aware when those meetings are happening and what's being put into those meetings.
Yeah, being a bit of a cynic, personally I smell a rat here. There's been 3 changes of officer now, and I was told that the officer has to read each objection word for word. Now, by chance the other day, or about a week or so, I spoke to Nick Fountain, and he said to me, he said there's revised plans going in, and they'll be going up tomorrow. I thought, well, no one's told us nothing about this. So I said to him, well, it's still showing a decision to be made by 31st of May, and it's still saying that. So that's going to negate us getting a speak, and the council getting a speak.
First of all, can I say, Phil, in terms of procedure, please be aware that some of it is Great Yarmouth Borough Council.
Oh, I'm not accusing this council, not accusing this council, but
in terms of they may have had a target date based on the original application, because there is a time scale that runs from the date of application to the approval date. That may well have been 31st of May if you were looking at an
that is still
October,
saying it.
November.
It is still saying that.
It will still say that because they are now waiting on that further documentation. I've seen today, I mean, I think there's something outside of, and this is not negating the comments, outside of public comments, there are about 10 or 12 documents that have gone on since the first. I did also know there was a Brown & Co letter which said attached are plans, never no plans attached. So we're very aware of what's going on there, and we are on the same bus as everybody else, and we are watching and following to make sure we can have that discussion with everybody present. But it's a two-way conversation. Okay, this is the first time for a while that a number of people have all sat in the same room. We're talking about the same subject. If we are to be a team about a team decision on that development, we need everybody together all the time. Right? And this council is very open, very clear what we do. We are representing you, not my interest or someone else's interest, you guys, right? And that must get out as a message. Because when we call a meeting sometimes, it's like we get an onslaught and an attack, like we did on the first round of the borough plan. We did that to help everybody understand what was going on. So I feel your angst, and I know it because we talked about it on the football field and everything else. We are watching and we are questioning all the time what's going on. A date, remember if it's the 31st of May, then they would have to have a committee meeting by the 31st of May, and that agenda will have to be out by next week or the Wednesday after. So we watch every Thursday, I think it's Thursdays the documents go up, isn't it?
Thursdays would come up
Thursdays go up for a Wednesday meeting. So we're watching every Thursday to see what's going on.
So it's just good to know that as an elected council, with a groundswell of opinion against this development, there is it's over 400 objections. That's a massive amount of objections. Massive amount, considering, I don't know what the actual population of Ormesby is, but it can't be much more than about 2,000. So that's a quarter of the percentage of the population. Very, very concerned. Me myself, I'm losing sleep over this. My neighbour, she's gone anxious, excuse my language, but she's got serious problems and health problems. And she's worried about all this traffic going past, breathing these foods. So many people are getting into people's heads.
We know.
And we feel that how does one person's greed trump the well-being and concerns of the residents?
We understand your point.
Yeah.
We are here to act as representatives for the whole parish. Okay? And we are following and tracking what's going on with those planning applications.
Yeah.
What's going on with the plan? What's going on with others? We're there, but there's nothing that we're aware of that can be underhand. And I don't see it the borough can be. I don't want to talk underhand because there isn't anything. It's got to be, as certain people say, transparent.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
And fair.
What I'm trying to say is whether they're trying to get things in under the radar so we don't get the. I mean, I was originally told all objectors gets 2 weeks' notice of when this meeting is going to be at the town hall. But then the next one I was told was only a week's notice, 5 working days. So, with the way the post is now, I presume these come out in the post, do they? Or
No, it comes by email. Everything we get from the borough is by email.
yeah.
Catherine wanted to say that.
I just wanted to say, rest assured that as soon as we know that it's coming in front of the borough, we will let you know, and the parish council will be there on behalf of the parishioners, which we've done before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's Barton Way, unless anyone else wants to add anything to it. There's nothing we can move on it at the moment. So are there any other items from the public wishes to raise? Going once, going twice. Public session has ended and we'll move to item 5.2 to receive reports from borough and county councillors. Yeah, James, go first. James, welcome.
Evening, Chair, thank you. Because you want to run through, I think most councillors have got my most recent report in the programmes, and that'll be online, Chris said as well, so parishioners can see my latest updates from Norfolk County Council. Just going on one thing that's come out today, there's a local nature recovery strategy that's coming out that we'd like some feedback on from anybody who's online. That is on the website, Norfolk County Council. That's the consultation for that. Also, just wanted to say some of the good work that we've done over the past year regarding the debris on the beach with them big blue bins that were taken away on our beach. Hence, we worked together and that. We've done really well getting them off, and some other nasty stuff. Big, looked like a central heating oil outside rusty container that we got off, and some other stuff that was deposited off a ship, I should imagine. So we done with that. Done well with that. Done well with the phone booth, library, etc. We put in a nice new dropped curb for a gentleman near the Star Shop as well, the former army chap that was having situations and trouble, difficulties with getting in and out and on that curb. But apart from that, Chair, I don't want to take up too much of your time. All the councillors here have the report, but I just want to chase up John's point regarding the sinkhole here, and that piece of work with Norfolk County Council and Yarmouth Borough Council is tied in to that Badger development with the pavement, which is going to be creeping around that side of the road, and there is talk, and I can't 100% guarantee this yet, but there was talk of putting in a zebra crossing. Obviously they're going to have dropped curbs either side, especially the new side, and there will also have to be tactile paving there for, as I said, people partially sighted to cross the road, so there will be dropped curbs either side. So there is also, and if, for want of a better word, if the plan and application or if the 106 money doesn't allow that to have a zebra crossing there on that junction as such with the new development, then I should be able to get it through with my grant funding as such. But that should all tie in with the new pavement coming in, hence why it's taken so long, John, sorry, to get sorted, because I had to wait for the plan and application to either be passed or denied before Norfolk County Council could solve it. But no, they will be on it, and touch wood, they should be starting soon. But I strongly recommend, if the underground works for their sinkhole as such, because they've also got to determine if it's angry water and what sort it is yet. So if I can just be copied in on the response to the resident, please, and then I can follow it up further and give more detailed as well, please, Chris.
Yeah.
But that's partly the reason. I know it's not what you want to hear, John, sorry, but the excuse was staying to the plan application and the length of time for that side too.
Thank you.
Could I just ask you, James, a year and a half ago, yourself and me and Justin LeMay had a tour of the village.
Yes.
We went right the way round and we actually pinpointed what needed to be done. That was paramount to be done. Justin LeMay then said, it's on my desk, which was perhaps 6 months after the meeting we had. And that was over a year ago. If it was on his desk ready to be done, I don't see why we have to wait for Badger to do a job that Justin LeMay already had on his desk.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I find it bizarre that he already agreed to do the work for us and also put the road markings straight, because we had the road markings going on, which all said and done, California Drive and Road is going along. But I just think to myself, he's had that on his desk now a year and a half and nothing.
Yeah.
What was the point of us all meeting, going around the village and pinpointing what we needed to do when he knew nothing was going to be done?
Yeah.
I don't see the point.
If I take that on, yeah, fully understand. Yeah, it's exhausting sometimes when we do that. I've got another meeting with Jeff to go around the village as well, so I can tie that in with you again, Pete.
Please, if you can, yeah, I'd like to.
So
Yeah.
we can talk through that. But
Okay.
yeah, fully take on board that, mate. Sorry.
It's a shame that we had that sorted. We left that meeting thinking this is all going to be done.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we have got done is them bollards at the end, like Rottenstone Land did.
Yeah.
Did what you sorted out.
Exactly, that's brilliant.
Right,
Sorry,
thank
Chair.
you. That's all right. John?
Just want to thank James for his comments. One thing I would like to say though is I don't see why any development on that hole should come out of 106 monies or out of James's grant. It is down to the developer, Mr. Philpott, and he has been allowed to get away with it. Okay, so you know,
Pick that up, John. Yeah,
look,
I can
it's
ask
not
him
Badger's
after this.
responsibility. It's Mr. Philpott. And that's, you know, and I don't see why our 106 monies that can be spent on other things be done on that. It should be him, and it should be him who they should be going after.
Okay, you got that one?
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah, we'll take that, we'll respond back on
Yeah,
that.
no worries.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim, did you have a hand up?
Well, I was just sort of, pardon me, ask James. Thankfully, the verges are now being cut, not the verges, but the visibility displays. The one up here at California was particularly dangerous, but that's been done now, is it? Is there a plan to do them again this season, or is that been
Yeah, there'll
one
be 2
cut?
cuts this season.
There's another cut.
There's another cut
So
on the way. I can't say
cutting
when.
as early as this, which
Yeah.
is necessary, but we'll get a second growth.
Yeah, they had to cut it early this year for the abuse I think they got last year because they left it too late. So they've done it early this year and there will be another one. Yeah, there will be another
Thank you.
one.
Okay. Nothing else for James? Joe?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. each month I do quite a detailed report to council outlining what's going on, because I try to give a little smattering of what goes on within the council. Council is a busy organisation, but also where we are within the parish and the jobs. And just taking what James said, the biggest problem we've got, and I can understand what Peter said, and budgets are absolutely screwed into the ground at the moment. Just to give you an example, 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, Great Yarmouth Borough Council had a budget of 18 million, just under 18 million. This year we're about 13 million because we don't receive the support from central government in the settlements. We've got a little bit more this year. The big problem is that the borough has had to make some big cuts, maintain services that we have to maintain, but they've had to make some difficult decisions. And it's interesting, you've all had your council tax come in the last few weeks. You open it up and you see, most people live in a Band D house, so you're probably paying, I don't know, 200 and something pound a month, that is. All of that money goes off to Yarmouth, because Yarmouth are the collectors. It then has to be passed on to Norfolk Police, Crime Commissioners, Fire, God knows what else. I think the Borough Council gets left with about £89 per property per year. And they can't put up council tax by more than 5% or £3. And I think this year there was tuppence in it. So they went for the, 3% or £5. And I think it came out at 4.97, so we went for the 3%. And that's how tight budgets are. But that's not an excuse, it's a reason. Also, it's a very big ward. There are 2 councillors for this ward. I won't make any other comment, it's just that the majority of the comments and other things seem to come back onto my doorstep. So today I've dealt with the internal drainage board and flooding, not within our parish, but only because somebody asked me if I'd be good enough to help them. 3 planning applications where people come to me, an overgrown hedge on Philby Lane, and a pothole. And that is, and also up on the Persimmon site, they left a big concrete block full of electrics and a car was driven into it, so there's live wires everywhere and nobody knows who to contact. So yeah, life is very busy. What I would say is that I've just looked on my laptop, this is a Borough Council laptop, I've just had in 7 consultations on planning in the last 3 days. There was a big catch up. A lot of these are minor ones like TPOs and other little things which are basically just saying, what do you think? And also some of them will be in Ormesby St Michael. But there is a lot coming in. There are some quite big ones coming in, and it might be that we have to think, Mr Chairman, of holding a planning meeting to kill all these off and to get them through, and it would make life a lot easier, and all the people who want to come and make their comments known, well then they can. And then nobody can say they haven't had an opportunity. So what I would say is, I won't give you my detailed plan because the councillors have already had my report. The good news is that we've now started work on the building the social housing on the Conge. As you know, the Conge is looking very different now. Some very good social housing going up there, which is so desperately needed. And the North Quay project, at the moment some of it's under embargo unfortunately, but the North Quay project for housing and other associated infrastructure is progressing really well. And we've just recently heard that there's a considerable investment coming into the town. So yeah, it's been an interesting year, been some highs and lows. The bridge was a bit of a joke, but the bridge is finally working.
Still is.
And I love it. Whenever I want to go over that side of Yarmouth, I will always use the new bridge, and it's taken a huge amount of traffic off other parts of the town. So that wasn't down to us, that was down to Norfolk County Council. But as a parish councillor, as well as a ward councillor, I know how hard parish councillors work. I've done it for 40 years, and Jim's done it for longer. And all I can say is that just keep up the good work, folks. And you all know where I am if you want me, and hopefully we will be able to do more. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Jeff relating to parish council elements of the borough council work?
Just a quick one, Chairman, nothing, we referred to the commons.
Yeah.
It's a multi-storey.
Yeah. 3-story.
3-story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's two things really. One, it's about speeding, which is a public thing. And number two is the development in the cons and everything. So hopefully that will provide enough houses that we won't have to build in the villages. Anyway, speeding.
Yep.
I didn't get a chance to put it on the agenda because it was only the other day. But I did find it on the Mercury website. It says, following concerns from residents and businesses in the area since the opening of the Swearing Bridge, Field conducted speed checks on Main Cross Road in South Yarmouth earlier this week. Nobody was caught speeding at the time, but they have continued to monitor. Current councillors, previous councillors have spent their own time at snap meetings over the years to get cameras into this village and speed checks. This bridge has been open less than 2 months and we already have a policeman. There isn't a residential area, it is all industrial. So can we please write to the police and ask for their criteria? Because we had an inspector here who said it was all about resources and all about data.
Yep.
I've done it, Reinhardt's done it. We have provided data since we've had the SAM 2 camera for I don't know how many years. And every year we have parishioners here, understandably, about speeding.
I will take that up with Chris.
And this,
Right
you know,
to-
this is just another kick in the teeth because it's all about bloody Yarmouth.
Okay. We will take that up and we will write to the police regarding that on the basis that there's a fast reaction there. We haven't had a reaction. Okay. Any other questions for Jeff? No? I will tell you that we did write to invite another borough councillor, Justin Rundle, to the meeting. Don't know if we have a response. No response.
She's still there.
Okay. That will then end the public session, unless anyone who just came in has anything to ask. No? No? Okay. We'll now reconvene the council meeting. The council's happy to reconvene. Yep. So we now go to item 6, financial matters.
So you should all have a copy of the payment list for this month. The big item on there is the insurance. Zurich, as you know, we've got a 3-year deal with those guys, so the premium hasn't changed. So in total, there's a spend of £9,533.80 this month. It is artificially high because of that. There is also a slight increase in hours for RFO because of the end of year work and preparing for the AGAR. In the bank accounts, bank account ending 387, as at this morning, there was 3,928.38 pence. In account ending 399, there was 98,452.84 pence. Ending 568, there was 1,277.82 pence. 660, 23 pence. Nationwide, 68,602.90 pence. And that rest, £40,001, giving a total cash in bank of 212,263.17 pence. I'm suggesting that we, or that you allow us to transfer a total of 14,452.84 from the deposit into the current to keep the deposit count under the limit for bank compensation. Unless there's any questions, that's it.
Any questions on the payment list? No? We have a proposer for that payment of £14,452.84. Catherine proposes it. A second it? Simone seconds it, all those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Item 7, planning. Looks like these are 2 TPOs this week. This month, I should say. 06240089 Scratby Hall, Caravan Park, Thoroughfare Lane, works to protected trees. Any comments from council?
No, sort of
Happy for that to go through.
Just a
That is
crown.
I think it's prohibitive, well, preventative work, I should say.
Yeah, it's a crown lift.
As it's around there. So, proposer, to say yes. Peter proposes it, seconder. Catherine, and those in favour? That is approved. We're happy to accept that work. 06240220 works to trees protected by TPO number 6, Corumba House Station Road. This is a revisit, is it not?
Yeah.
And this was a revisit based on understanding of ownership of the bund, all or in part, where the trees G2,
Yeah.
which is the 10 or 12 trees along the side of Station Road, where there is a raised bund, sorry, we have a fence line, the trees, a raised bund, and the road. And the question was, who owns those trees? And that question has been answered. The trees are under the ownership in the register of Corumba House. The bund, as we understand it, a metre in from the road, is under the ownership of Highways. Therefore, the trees are under the ownership of the property, and that is the work, that is the protected order. That's the information that we have up to date. Correct? Any questions? Any points?
Comment, Jim, whilst we're in that area, could you get the clerk possibly write to the owner and get that hawthorn hedge cut around the corner? Because when you turn from Station Road, you turn through what I call Benbeck's Loop, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
When you come through there, you can't see, you're committed, you go right round this hedge. If anything's coming down, they can't see you and you can't see them.
Right. Can we hold the hawthorn hedge to a separate subject, which I think may be subject to a meeting with James, Jeff, and possibly myself when we go out the highways looking?
Sorry, Jim, when you're ready, I can come in on that, on the.
But the point is made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I referenced the trees. One of the reasons I've requested a meeting with James is that obviously there's certain work going to be going on up along Station Road. And though we've established the ownership of that land, the ownership, the TPO specifically says about damage to not just the branches, but also to the roots. And if a footpath in the future is put along there, which is very much needed, from basically where the bowling club is down to the next road that I can't remember, Jim calls it Benbeck's Loop, we want to make sure that there's a note on the planning folder that at some time you may require to have a footpath put in there, and the tree roots could be quite close.
So the TPO in place at the moment is a temporary TPO, subject to the consultation that's taking place. So that one is clear.
Yeah.
It runs up to a certain date, at which point consideration is given to a full TPO. Are you saying that we should include in our writing words to the effect that any TPO placed upon those trees would not preclude any work to provide a footpath to station?
I've already made that comment myself.
Is that what you were asked?
I would like the parish to do the same,
Okay.
because road safety has to be the most important thing, especially up Station
So
Road.
we did that in the last, when it last came up, Jeff, we did that. We went
Great.
out to planning with that objection.
So we've already put that
Excellent.
point to them, but it was subject to understanding the ownership. Now we know that we've already made the comment, and we now know the ownership. So is there anything further to do?
Well, we can reiterate that point, I guess.
Yeah, that's all. I just reiterate the
So having revisited and with full knowledge of the ownership, the proposal is to accept the TPO on the basis that the footpath potential is noted and not compromised. Good word, Jim. Not compromised. That's a proposal. There was a second for that. Jim, all those in favour? Thank you. Item 8, permanent appointment of clerk. Simone,
Right,
as chair of personnel.
right, as chair of personnel, last month was Chris's 6-month probationary period, and so about a month before that I emailed all the councillors to see if anyone had any opinions as to how he was doing the job with regards to the job spec. I had one reply, and that was all supporting him. So we then had a meeting with Chris, and he assured me he's enjoyed every single minute of it. So I put it to the council that we offer Chris a full contract as the parish clerk, because obviously at the moment he's doing a dual role, but we'll deal with that, the RFO bit, when that time comes up.
So the proposal is
To offer him
to offer
the full
Chris
contract.
the permanent contract
Yeah.
of clerk to
Parish
the
clerk, yeah.
council. That's proposal from personnel.
If you want it.
That's the proposal.
I told you, he said he was
He
enjoying
said,
it.
Chris said he would accept it. Are council happy to accept that proposal and move ahead? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, second, I would second it. All those in favour?
Yeah.
No mean feat. Good enough. Number 9, maintenance. 9.1, gates. We have a number of maintenance items and work items to discuss. They range 9.1 gate recreation ground. 9.1 was to potentially leave the main gates open at all times, which of course we were concerned with the potential of then the car park being used for various other means, car racing, etc. And so the proposal is to put a secondary set of gates in to reduce down the size of the car park so it doesn't become a racetrack. Protected, but allows people access and parking for approximately 20 to 25 cars. Those gates then could be controlled by the football club and by the bowls club to open up, or anybody else who uses the recreation ground for large numbers, to open up the recreation ground for wider parking. What it will do is it will negate the need to shut the gates daily and open them daily, and then give us a different control over the car park. That was 9.1. We have yet had any costing or...
We have costings on base camp.
We have the costings on base camp, so everyone's seen the costings on base camp. Does anybody have any questions about costing? Base camp, for those of you who don't see base camp, because it's an internal documentation management system. Base camp allows us to see everything that Chris is doing live, and we can interact with Chris live at any time. So we can continue to have dialogue and conversation throughout the month on various different matters. It's fully encrypted, it's internal only, no external access, so it's fully protected from a GDPR point of view, etc. Councillors, any comments on the gates that have been put forward or the costings? No? So the final costing on those gates was?
Is it that through the farm?
We're looking for some alternative pricing because we've got a couple of favourites, but I'm looking for another.
Okay, so that's something that's ongoing. In terms of open spaces, we need a small project team to get together with Chris. So if people on open spaces who've been there could stick with Chris on this and keep working on these numbers, so that hopefully by next month we can bring it back for an approval and actually make things happen over the summer. Yeah. Doors to the pavilion, Chris, you're probably better placed. Where are we with the doors to the pavilion? This is the two rear doors for the pavilion.
The single doors.
Or two single doors, which is to either be repair or replace. I think last time we were currently looking at.
So the original instruction was to replace, but having had a look at them and having someone else have a look at them, there was an argument that they could be repaired, and the metal work on them is intact. The upper door frames are fine. The door has integrity. It's just the lower parts of the frames that they could be cut out and replaced, which might be a more cost-effective option for the parish rather than going for the more expensive option of new doors. But that's something for you guys to decide. It's just wanted to throw that in there as an option that maybe should be considered.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
If we can we tie that all in together with the 2 posts for the notice board that hopefully we're going to take out to give better access to the field, and then put a notice board on the wall? Are we okay with that still?
Yeah, I think that's
all tied in with the same group.
I think that's coming up
Pavilion.
next anyway, but yeah, we should do it all at the same time.
9.4 is noticeable.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, no, all right, okay.
Yeah. Bus shelter California, that looks like that's going to be a day job person. We've identified one person in the area, lives in the area, works in the area, and can do us a day rate, hourly rate, a sensible rate. We need to identify the works and fixed hours for each of those California bus stop. The bus stop on California Road being one of them. That needs staining, cleaning, possible perspex replacement. Peter?
Can we go to the bus companies and see if they'll effect a repair to that and put new perspex in for us?
We will try.
Can we do that?
We'll
Because
try.
then obviously we can't be able to save ourselves a couple of quid.
If they want to give us their logo on a piece of perspex,
Well, that's fair
it's
enough.
free advertising for it. So have a look at that. 9.4 notice boards. Yeah. Currently had 2 damage notice boards, and we also have some new metal notice boards to install in other locations. Again, this is down to appointing a person on an hourly rate to go around and repair those. If we can fix them, would you like us to be under 500?
I would thought so, yeah. The one at the village centre needs repairing, the locks need repairing. The one on the cliffs needs the locks sorted out. And then obviously there's the one recreation around that needs either fixing to the wall or putting back whatever it is. But I think I have favour is putting it on the wall, isn't it? So I think I might come in just over for that.
Right, so on the notice boards, up to a maximum of £500 can be approved by the chair and clerk. So understanding all this, I'm going to agree hopefully with council now that Chris and I can move forward with appointing someone on a day rates to get those immediate notice boards prepared. Yeah? Peter?
Again, can I just say, are we going to put one in the bus stop, Beach Road, and one in Ormesby bus shelter?
We have 2, I think we have
Had
2.
plans for that.
One is coming here, one is going potentially internally to the centre. We need to see what the other 2 are being used for, see if we get them.
It would be a good idea, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that anyone wants to discuss on maintenance?
Yeah, I was going to sort of get in touch with Chris. The bus stop in Ormesby, that needs
a
repaint.
repaint.
Yeah.
What about the sycamore tree on Green Town? Have we decided it's dead now?
No, it's not dead. The people who did the work on the Lime at the bottom corner, who did the original survey, said it is not dead. It is alive. All sycamores, apparently, in the last 2 years have had problems and have slowed. And he said that one is not dead. It just looks dormant. Right. Okay, item 10, breakdown of plan. We are due to give a response to the initial consultation of the new draft of the Great Yarmouth Plan. The plans were put up onto Basecamp. People have had time to look at it. We've had several comments back. I suppose the best way to do it is if I run through the summary of what has been said. So, one key area that's been highlighted by several people is the rollback areas in our emerging neighbourhood plan, which has been seen by Great Yarmouth Borough Council, which has been seen by planning officers and others, has rollback areas in it. The Great Yarmouth Borough Council plan does not include our rollback areas, so the question is why? That's what we will be asking. Yes, yeah. These are the questions, the outline of the questions that we're going to put based on people's comments. GYBC states that the plan supersedes any neighbourhood plan. We don't want an answer tonight, but the question is, what does that mean? Because does that mean GYBC's new plan will supersede everybody else's neighbourhood plan and they've got to rewrite? Or does it supersede what we have done so far? It is not clear, so we will be asking them for that detail very clearly, because it was not made clear at the meeting. Right, one of the ones that I know is near and dear to everyone's heart out there, because it's raised as part of the objections with the planning for new housing, is that there's no understanding of impact of the numbers of houses on the local services. When I was a lad, many years ago, I was part of the local strategic partnership for Great Yarmouth, which included Great Yarmouth Borough Council, the police, health, education, and all care services. And all of us joined up in one place around one table, and when we had local plans, everything overlaid really clearly. So at the moment, we might think we know where the doctor's surgery's line is for Ormesby or Martham, or, sorry, they're all the same, or the central Yarmouth surgeries, but we've got no indication of where the lines are by comparison to the new developments. It must be made clear. They haven't therefore shown us the clear impact of which development affects what surgeries. Because the line for Yarmouth, I can tell you, the Yarmouth surgeries comes to the end of my road, because I had to change surgery. Because I used to go to Yarmouth. And when the boundary changed, it changed literally to the end of my road. So everyone south of me, which is California, goes to Yarmouth. Yeah. Surprising, eh?
Yeah.
So that's why we are asking the question, what's the overlay when you put boundaries of things like school clear, school catchment clear, surgery, etc. We want to see that overlaid, so it's very clear where the impact's going. It's not coming this way, it's going that way or where. So that was that one. Another one is that there doesn't seem to be at the moment, as far as we can see, a clear impact survey again on water discharge and related issues and the existing or proposed new developments. It may be they haven't got the detail yet, but at the moment, one of those in this area sits right at the very top of what was the old water course and water flow way that goes out through to the Decoy Road and out to the Broads. We know at the moment we've already got an issue with subsurface water in Chimney Springs. So that means that our does a bigger development at the other end, then start to affect it in the same way, because we already have Cromer Road as a development, not other developments. So we want to see more detail of the real impact and flow of those water, both surface and subsurface. Because if you look at, as anybody, if you've looked, the water authority, or the Anglia Water shows you all of the different outlets on an interactive map, and you can actually see how many days, how many hours, how many litres, etc. of water have gone out. And most of it is surface water. If you put houses on fields, you will get more surface water. So we want to know more. Another question is, how does Great Yarmouth Borough Council justify the number and type of houses it wishes to see in this area? If you look at the lowest price threshold of a house and then take the average income, the average salary of Great Yarmouth Borough, a couple were required to put down a minimum of £50,000 to £70,000 to buy a £200,000 house. It doesn't add up. So why are we building if we're not building for locals and families and people to stay in villages? We need to understand what that is all about. Another question was over power supplies, water supplies. We know that things are talked about as energy efficient, but at some point there's going to be an impact on recabling, new cabling, new connections. Where's the impact of that? None of that is shown as far as we can see in the plan. It's just a block of houses. So again, we want to see more detail and understand. Yes, it might be about developers. There's no point putting an opportunity where you're going to cause chaos. And that's why we want to understand more of that detail. And that's really the angle we're taking from the questions that have been raised by councillors and had input. Councillors happy with that as an outline framework to go back to GYBC?
Good comments, very fair.
Okay. Everyone happy? I will put that out. John, yes.
It's just a couple of things. I've looked at the plan and I printed off a couple of things on a couple of the pages. One of them I thought was quite interesting because it says here, the majority of the countryside within the borough benefits from rich soils and is identified as best and most versatile agricultural land. So why do we keep building on it? Okay. You know, they're talking about, you know, social housing, social what's name. You know, they're talking about the James Paget, currently health and wellbeing. We're the 24th most deprived local authority. You know, we can't get, there is no NHS dentist in the entire county of Norfolk. You know, there's lots of things in here, but it just, it's very ambiguous and very just crap, to be quite honest. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it's the truth. You know, they're talking about here, you know, offshore energy and sector. Most of that business isn't going to be in Yarmouth. A lot of it will be, but a lot of it will be in Lowestoft. It's in Suffolk. You know, we were promised a roll-on, roll-off ferry. Tourism, Yarmouth. It's just, you know, it's pie in the sky, to be quite honest.
I will add all these in as points raised.
It's, yeah.
Any other points or questions not yet raised? I'll put that together to the council as an initial response. They gave us an extension until tomorrow because we were meeting tonight to discuss, because again it's consultation. But let's be really clear, this is the first consultation to shape the plan, tighten it up, and then it comes back to consultation again. So this is not our only chance, this is our first chance to make it clear. This is what we are thinking and why we're thinking this way. At the same time as this, some people out there may be asking, well, where is our neighbourhood plan? Due to various things over the last 12 months, 12 to 18 months, it's been delayed. However, it's been seen by all of the necessary authorities and given its approvals to and able to take it to public consultation. We currently have the consultant working on what we need to do now to bring that plan to consultation. And I think personally, if I can say it, I think we might be in a better position that it got slightly delayed because of what is happening with the GYBC plan. It gives us an opportunity, because if they're saying the local plan supersedes the neighbourhood plan, whatever we would have done would have been superseded, so now we're in a better position. We've got to use that strength and that opportunity at this time. Okay? Are there any other questions on the plan? I will send that letter out to everyone tomorrow before it goes off to GYBC, and then if everyone is happy, I've got no comments by 6 o'clock tomorrow night, I will send it to the council. Okay? Everyone happy with that? Okay. Item 11. Chris.
That was a copy of that, so.
Can you explain?
Yeah, so we've balanced all of the accounts and populated the appropriate forms. You've got a copy of there. There are some variances, but the variances the auditor is not interested in at this moment in time. The main variance is in staff costs, and that's just a reflection of the fact that we didn't have a paid for clerk during that financial year, or the year before, sorry. So there's an increase in staff costs. We will have to go back and just adjust the previous AGAR because it was not fully accurate. But the figures you've got in front of you are approved and accurate, ready for the audit.
So to be clear, last year's AGAR was a treatment of a number of cheques, 1,400-ish, 500 I think it was, of cheques that have been raised but not cashed, and they were past 6 months. It was deemed that we should have written them off a certain way, but PKF gave us a different way. Okay. For the public, so you are aware, all the figures here for the last financial year, 1st of April through to the 31st of March, have been re-input onto Scratby, which is a very bespoke accounting system designed for parish councils. It produces your AGAR. So this document is a summary of everything we have input. So the system transparently tracks every single item, every single piece of expenditure and income, as good as we put it in to provide us with an AGAR. This is not a calculated thing, this is a computer generated report specifically designed. And Chris gets support from a group of people from Scratby who are Cllr. They are Cllr qualified, filter qualified. That is the level of qualification you get as a qualified clerk or responsible financial officer. Okay. So, do we have any questions on AGAR? John.
The total borrowings figure, that'd be lower than that?
Not according to the statements we've had through from the official documentation shows the balances which have been input as of the 31st of March 2024.
That's taken directly from the statements from the Public Works Loan Board.
Yeah, I can get a copy across to you, John, so you can see.
Chair, could it be that because the Public Works Loan Board on this reduces automatically every month because it's a mortgage basically, so it's interest cash. capital, interest capital each month. But because we've got the outstanding loan on the village centre, which is backed up by the money we've got deposited in Nationwide, when that comes to maturity, that is still shown as borrowing, John. I think that will knock another 55,000 off. Because that is due for repayment in quite a short period now, isn't it? It's not long away.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you look at the previous year, the difference from 547819 to 531548, that's a difference of approximately 15,000. This difference is a figure of 7,000. That's when you're questioning the difference as to has it gone down by the right value. Right, we will need to revisit those states, check with you, maybe both areas of statements, but we need to revisit. That's fine.
Yeah, the statement those figures were taken from was the March 24 statement.
Different statement, it just
Yeah.
seems a bit odd
Yeah, it
to me.
seems
I
weird
just
when you've got
expected that to be going down.
a straight line almost, yeah.
Because I don't, because to the best of my knowledge, the interest rates aren't affected.
No, we're totally fixed rate from the start of
So
the
it's
start of the loan to the end of the loan. Yeah.
It seems to make much sense.
Okay, so we'll confirm that to you, John.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so the proposal would be, with that being the only query at present,
Well,
of the only query,
no. I'm just
Okay.
really sure about the total other payments. It would have been nice to have had the accounts for the year. Really.
well, this should only reflect every single payment list that we've
Sure.
actually approved. Do you think?
So John, you have access.
That's okay.
You have access to all of those.
Yeah, I
other
appreciate I
files
have
for you,
access
yeah.
to it, but,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's just here on the night, isn't it? So, you know.
The payments would be pushed.
Particularly when we've had the accounts and now you recreate them, so there is an opportunity for an error, isn't there?
That's fine,
So-
so your
I'm
query relates to.
It's actually the opposite way round, John, if I may be so bold, because there were, the reconciliation that was done previous to me taking over was incorrect.
Sure. I've also done a set of accounts, so I'm just not sure about the figures, that's all.
Right, so we need a confirmation on total outstandings. Confirmation on total borrowings. Remember, this is the first time it has come to us, we are early this year, as it may. Not that I want to go to the wire like we did in the previous years, it was 30th of June, the last day, and an extraordinary meeting, and don't want to be there. So we will get those confirmations out to everybody. I would ask everybody to look at Scribe so that we can move this forward. And we'll rework where we are with forms, etc. Yeah, it may well be that there was just less payments out. You've got to remember, if you look at our reserves, they've gone up substantially, which means we may have then spent far less. But again,
That's one of the variances that we have in this one.
yeah, the variances do show up as spending far less than we did the previous year. Yeah. So we'll check those and get back to you. If necessary, we'll call another meeting to approve that based on those two elements, so that we can move the audit forward. We don't have to wait till June. But all of that will then be posted. So once we've gone through this stage, and there's an internal audit, we then publish the AGAR, and we will then send it to PKF. Then there's a period of, I want to say 25, but I think it's more than that, a number of working days, more than a month of working days when papers are available to the public, so many of which must be within the last week of July, I think it is. And then PKF give us their determination. That then gets republished to the public transparency as well once we've got people back, so there's all full transparency of all figures. Okay? Any other points or questions on AGAR? No? Okay. That concludes the agenda of the council meeting for this month. Next month's meeting will be posted on agendas, and it will be in Ormesby. Where it will be in Ormesby, we don't know. It may be at the village centre, it may be at Bracecamp. Bracecamp gives us better acoustics and use of IT if we need it, and other things, and it would be good to use all centres that we've got rather than just stick to two. Bracecamp, I know, has a gap on a Monday. Village Centre has a booking on Monday, and I'd rather see them take the money than have our meeting. So, thank you very much for attending. My apologies on the annual council meeting, which we will replan and rework. And you will be notified as a public when that will be.